Hi everyone, welcome to this live show, and me and my team right over here. Welcome, guys. I think some of you have already joined us. If you can see and can hear me, right, just type a one, or type good morning in the chat so that I know that this live stream is working. We're streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook as well, guys. So if you can see, you can hear me, just type a one or type good morning. I think we have like more than 50 of you over here. Thank you so much for being early. All right, and welcome to this live show called Ask Me Any Stocks, right? And I have Z over here. Maybe Z, just say hi.
Hi everyone. My name is Z. It's a pleasure to be back. So for those of you who don't know, I've been assisting Joey for over 4 years now, and also one of the coaches in his mentorship program. So maybe before Joey begin, just remember to like and share, and also don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you guys are watching from YouTube.
Yes, indeed, right? Go ahead to hit the like or follow or subscribe button, guys, so that when we go live in the future, you will not miss out, all right? And okay, let me just get started. So what is this session about? As you can see right over here, this is my screen, guys, and the topic for today's session is Ask Me Any Stocks, right? Ask me any stocks. And what do you mean, right? Basically, you are able to ask me any Singapore stocks. We'll do a live poll. We'll do a live poll later, and I'll pick the top most popular stocks that a lot of you are asking about, all right? And I pretty much just dive into the stocks live. Of course, I have Z, maybe just to help me out with one of the or two of the stocks, right? Just to give a quick analysis of where we are. And if you guys want, I can do a quick market outlook as well, maybe on the S&P 500 index and on the STI before going through your stocks. And make sure you stay all the way to the end, because at the end, right, after going through all your stocks, right, then I will share with you one stock that I like as well. All right. So hopefully you guys will find this stock good as well. All right. Just to make sure I give value to all of you over here. All right. And this is pretty much what will happen. Right. So just type good morning or type one. For those of you who have just joined us, welcome to this live show called Ask Me Any Stocks. Me and my team over here, Z, all right, will be helping me to analyze some of the stocks as well. All right. We have Edward. I'll just put your comments just to acknowledge all of you. Stephen, good morning. Hi, Grace. Good morning. Excited. Missed a few sessions. Good to see you here. Celia, a few familiar faces. Hi, Celia. David, good to see you here as well. Dave, good morning. WH, good morning. Shah, good morning. Awesome. Hi, Elvin. Morning. All right. So you can see your comments, or you kind of like your comments, right? Just to show you guys and acknowledge. So let's get started right now. How many of you want me to cover like a quick market outlook, right? If you want, just type M for markets in the chat. So this is YouTube, guys. I mean, we're on Facebook as well, so it's on streaming live on both of my channels. So you can type. I think there should be a chat somewhere. If you're using a phone, it should be at the bottom, and I think on the right if you're on this desktop, right? So just type M for market, guys. If you can, go ahead. You want me to analyze the markets, right? M. All right. Let's see. Dave, Sihua, KCM, a lot of M. So let me just go to talk about the markets right now. And just a quick disclaimer, right? Whatever they share in today's live stream, guys, as the usual disclaimer, right, is just for education purpose only, right? So please do your own due diligence, right? I'm not asking you to buy or sell anything, right? This is for education purpose only, right? The usual same disclaimer that we have to do, all right? Okay, so let me get started right now and talk about the market, since a lot of you are asking the market. Jerry, good to see you here. Vincent, Flora, Peter, Sihua. Okay, very good. So this is the S&P 500 index, right? Before we talk about the stocks that you guys want, all right? And very quickly, guys, what do you guys think about the S&P 500 in terms of the trend, in the longer term, right? Is it like up or is it like down? All right, just type in the chat. You can make a guess. If you are new, maybe make a guess. Is it up or down based on the trend that we are looking at for the S&P 500 index, right? The index that makes up the top 500 companies in the US. Is it up or down, right? Just a very quick, survey here. What do you guys think, right? Is it up or down? So I can see all your comments. Just type U for up, D for down, all right? In the longer term, what do you guys think about the trend, right? Is it up or maybe down, or maybe, what do you guys think? Let me see, right? So we have some saying is down. Li Han, up in the long run, very good. Any of you, any else? What do you guys think about the trend for the S&P 500? Is it up or is it down? Okay, so let's see, right? So I think most of you are saying it's up. Jerry, up as well. Danielle, up. So let me go to analyze it, right? So you can see that for the S&P 500 index, right? Essentially, for those of you who have been following me for a while, right? My specialty is on trend trading, right? Trend trading, basically, we want to take trades and ride stocks or maybe even the indices, right? Along with the trend, all right? We don't go against the trend. We don't go along with the trend, right? And take trades that are aligned with the trend. So first of all, in order to take trades that are aligned with the trend, you must know the trend now, right? The worst thing is you think it's up, but actually it's down, and then you go and buy, right? So you want to make sure you are along with the trend, all right? So how then do we tell the trend, right? Well, very simple. Let's take a look at this index. So this is the S&P 500 index. And for those of you who have been following me on YouTube, I did a few analysis on the market, even on some of my live stream previously as well. I mentioned that for the S&P 500 index, we have been pretty much in the longer term uptrend since last year, right? Very simple. How do we tell? Well, we can look at what we call the longer term moving average. So the longer term moving average would be like this red line. This red line would be the 100 days moving average, and the blue line would be the 200 days moving average. You can see somewhere over here in like March last year, right? We actually saw the 100 days, the red line actually crossed above the blue line. So we have been in a longer term uptrend since March last year, right? Not last week or last month, guys. Since last year, right? Quite long ago already, right? And yeah, so in terms of longer term, it has been pretty much in the uptrend since last year, right? Of course, previously in 2022, we were in a bit of a downtrend. Right over here, you can see that the 100 days, the red line actually crossed down below the blue line. So this is by looking at the longer term moving averages, right? You can tell kind of like the trend, right? So that has been the S&P 500 index, right? So let's take a look at where we are right now, which is the key for today's topic, right? We are still in a longer term uptrend, I would say. Well, just by looking at the red and blue line, the 100 days moving average is still above the longer term moving average. So technically, right, just by looking at the chart itself, we are still in a pretty stable and strong longer term uptrend. I say again, longer term uptrend, not short term. Short term, I'll talk about it in a bit, right? So that is key, right? So it's been pretty strong. In fact, over the past 1 month, we did see some weakness in the short term, which is nothing new, right? Nothing out of the ordinary, because over the past like 1 over year doesn't mean that in the longer term we go up, means in the short term we must always go up. No, right? We can also see some short-term weakness. So you can see somewhere in July last year, we saw some weakness in the short term. Right over here, you can see we sold off. We kind of like sold off by about 10% in July last year. You can see there was a short-term weakness. Even somewhere in March as well, we sold off in the short term, but a month went down by 6%. So last month in August, right, or beginning of the month in August, same thing. We kind of like sold off and down by about 9-10% before we stage a pretty good rebound. So in the short term, we can actually rebound. I mean, we can actually retrace back down to some support, and then buyers comes back and then starts to rebound back up, right? So what is some of the news? Maybe some of you can share with me, right? What do you think is some of the news as to why we sold off quite massively as we began August, just like 3 to 4 weeks back? What are some of the news that came out, guys? Maybe you can share with me. What do you guys think? Okay, Shah, waiting for Fed action next month. Yeah, that could be some of the news as well. What do you think with the news as to why we actually sold off massively just a couple of weeks back? Like you see right over here, right? We sold off by about 8 to 9, 10%. Anyone can share with me? So before I talk about, what will happen. So go to type in the chat, guys, so I can go to share your comments. Let's see, Alvin, with the interest going down, long run should be up. Good, I'll come to that in a bit. Down for now, but we'll bounce up again, Edward. Okay, very good. So let's take a look, right? What are some of the reasons why the market actually sold off over the past 3 to 4 weeks before staging a pretty good rebound? Let's see. We have Maggie, carry trade, very good. Maggie, Japan carry trade unwinding, very good. Black Monday in Japan. Yeah, the Japanese Nikkei sold off by more than 12%. Next day rebounded by more than 10%, right? So very good Japanese yen. So I think all of you got it right. So that is one of the key reasons for those of you who have not been following the news. Essentially, just about 2-3 weeks back, the Bank of Japan actually hiked their interest rate for the first time in many years, right? So this kind of like triggered the unwinding of the carry trade. What is carry trade? Well, basically, a lot of these companies, right, or institutions or fund houses, hedge funds, governments, because of the Japanese yen, interest being very low, right? So they borrow in Japanese yen and they convert to US dollar or any other currencies around the world, and they buy those risky assets. So what happens is once the Japanese yen or the Bank of Japan hike interest rate, that's where it triggered what we call a lot of margin call, right? So a lot of these companies actually have to repay back their loan, and they have to sell off many of those more risky assets like stocks or crypto or funds and everything to pay down this loan. And this is where it triggered kind of like a huge sell down in the market, right? And what happens that a few days later, there was some news about recession fears. And of course, we had the mega cap technology stocks selling off. So all these kind of like came within like a few days, and then the market started to really weaken. But what happens is that for the S&P 500 index, right, you can see that we headed towards this very key support level. So let me just remove all these. You can see that this is a very key support level, which I talked about in my YouTube video as well, the 5,200. So that was where we were. You can see right over here, it was a bit of a resistance. We broke, attempted to, retest this support, new support, went up, came back down, and we went to this 5,200 again, all right? And that's where buyers started to come back, all right? And we staged a pretty good rebound, all right? So let's take a look at where we are right now in terms of resistance. So I would say that we might be seeing some resistance maybe around that 5,000, all right, 700, 5650 to 5,007. I think that is pretty much where we were just before the sell down in July. You can see we are right over here again. And that's where we are seeing some selling over the past 1 week, right? But it is a fact that we have staged a pretty strong rebound after the massive sell down. So I would say that there's inherent strength in the market, because whenever there's any bad news, yeah, we might see some short-term weakness, but once we approach some of those key lower support levels, and you can see this support, as I mentioned, 5,002, it has been holding since May for about 3 months, and it is also where the longer term moving averages are. The red and blue, can you see it went to like kind of like between them, and it pushed away from these longer term moving averages, which is a good sign, which shows that the longer term trend is still intact. Something like this, look at this, right? It was in, as I mentioned, in like July, August last year, we traded down, and we saw prices headed to where the longer term moving averages are, and then we rebounded and we pushed away from it. So this is what is happening right now, all right? And so we have staged a pretty good rebound, and we are back to this near resistance level at about 5,700. So in the short term, as I mentioned just now, right, we can actually see weakness, in the short term here and there. It could be a few weeks, it could be 1 or 2 months, like what we've seen. But the key here is that as we sold off, right, is there support coming back? Are there signs of the trend kind of like turning down in not just the short term, but also the long term? And based on what I'm seeing right now from charts, it hasn't happened yet, right? It still seems like the longer term trend is up, all right? In the short term, it was down a little bit, but right now you can see that it is kind of like pointing back up, because the short-term 20 days moving average line, this green line, has started to point back up. So the question is, when can we actually break this 5,000 resistance, right? So I would say that we may have found some support for the market maybe around here, 5,500. That would become like the range, 5,500. This is the S&P 500 index, right? So range is maybe 5,500 to 5,700. That could be where we will be probably in the next few days, maybe next 1 or 2 weeks, before we see a bit more direction. And of course, if we can break the 5,700, that would give more upside to the market. We can potentially start to hit to maybe 5,008 to 6,000 for the S&P 500 index, right? So I think right now it looks pretty bullish still, all right? The fact that we dropped and we sold off massively, but buyers just came back up. We saw a pretty good rebound, and we are now holding above this new 5,500 support level. All right. So thank you so much for those of you who are participating. Fears of recession, interest rate cuts as well. Yes. So what happens is that over the past week, right, there were talks about interest rate cuts, right? So for those of you who have been following, we had like 11 rate hikes since about 2 years back. All right. And the Fed fund rate would be about 5.25% to 5.5%. All right. And all this while, since last year, November, the Federal Reserve have been talking about rate cuts, all right? But it was like supposed to be in March, and then in June, and then now it's like August, they haven't get done yet. But now the Fed is saying that, no, yeah, potentially very high chance that in September, which is like next month, they would maybe cut rates for the very first time. And that is a good thing. That's a good thing that could trigger a lot of momentum in the markets. It could, because now there's recession fears, right? So they don't want to keep rates high for too long, because the purpose of these rates becoming high is to tame inflation, right, which is coming down, right? It's slowly hitting the 2% target. So it's more or less that their objective is achieved, and they want to make sure that it doesn't hurt the economy, all right, and cause a recession. That's the worst thing, right? So that's where now they might potentially start to cut rates next month. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing, right? Okay, so let's take a look at some of the comments, right? We have Brightstar, NVIDIA. Yeah, NVIDIA has reported pretty good results, but it was below expectations. It's sold off. But in today's live stream, guys, we are talking about the Singapore market, right? We're talking Singapore stocks. Maybe in the next one, we'll do like US stocks, but in today, we'll talk about some Singapore stocks. So let me just go ahead. And how many of you want me to, to cover your your Singapore stocks. Just type S for Singapore. Type S for Singapore, guys, if you want me to talk about your Singapore stocks right now before I share with you guys where you can let me know your Singapore stocks that you want a quick opinion on. Just type S for Singapore. All right, S, Grace, S, Edward, S, Wilson, thank you, S. Thank you so much for participating, guys. Ting Leong, Wilson, S as well, and DS. Okay, very good. Let's go ahead to get started right now. So how do you let me know the Singapore stocks that you want a quick opinion on? Well, very simple, guys. You can go ahead. Let me just turn on this live poll right now, right? So essentially, this is where you can let me know your Singapore stock. So very simple, go to www.slido.com and you can type in the code, right? The code is AMAS, which stands for Ask Me Any Stocks, right? AMAS 22. So let me just grab you the link, all right? Let me grab the link to actually participate in this poll in a bit. So that is the link. I'll just place the link in the chat right now. So that is the link to participate in the live poll. Just click on the link in the chat, all right, and let me know what are the Singapore stocks that you want a quick opinion on. So just make sure, guys, that when you type, right, one stock, one time, right? Don't just type 3 together so that the poll can run. So 3 stocks for each person, is coming out. I think some of you are already participating in the poll, right? So 1 stock, send 3 times, 1 stock, 1 line, all right, and just send it. And that's how we are doing a live poll right now, all right, in terms of the Singapore stocks that you want a quick opinion on. All right, let's see. All right, so let's see. Just go ahead to click on the link, guys, to join the live poll to let me know some of the Singapore stocks that you want a quick opinion on. Or you can scan the QR code as well. So on the top left-hand corner, you can see there's a QR code. If you are on your computer, you can use your phone to scan this QR code. You can see, guys. So this is live, guys. You can see it's happening right now. I think like Seatrium is like kind of like the first one. A lot of you are asking out. So we'll do a live poll just about 30 seconds before we stop. Let's play some music. 30 seconds. All right, go ahead to type in the name of the Singapore stocks that you want a quick opinion on. All right. Yeah, so total 3 stocks, right? Just 3 stocks, one by one. Type 1, you submit. Type 1, you submit, and just 3 stocks, right? So I think we have a kind of like a winner right over here. So I will pick the top most popular Singapore stocks that a lot of you are asking about, and that's where I'll do a quick analysis, right? So this is what's happening. For those of you who have just joined us, right, you're scrolling through Facebook or YouTube, welcome to this live show called Ask Me Any Stocks. Pretty much we have just gone through the market, and now we are looking at the Singapore stocks that you guys, a lot of you are asking about. I'll just pick the most popular one before going through, right? So 30 more seconds, right? 30 more seconds before we end. All right, so let's get started. I think we have quite a lot of stocks already. A lot of you are asking about so many stocks. So what happens is right now, guys, I'm going to pick the most popular stocks, right? Most popular stocks to go through in the Singapore market that a lot of you are asking about. And hopefully this is the one that all of you are asking about, right? I'll try to pick the more popular one, right? And for those of you who have just joined us, welcome to this session called Ask Me Any Stocks Live. We are going through the Singapore stocks that you guys want a quick opinion on. And very simple, guys, before I even talk about your stocks and choose them, right? Would it be okay if you guys give me a like, smash the subscribe, the follow button? I think there should be a follow button, or just hit the heart shape button. Show some love, give me some heart shape so that it can float around. I think, let's see, right? So hit some heart shape, share as well. This is what I'm saying. Thank you so much for all the hearts right over here. All right, yeah, so hit the heart shape button, right? Just share and like so that we are able to reach out to more people as well. More people can take part in the poll, all right? So I think some of you are actually typing, like Elaine, you're typing your stocks over here, like Sembcorp, Profu, Mapletree. All right, go ahead to take part in the poll, all right? The link is actually in the chat. So that's where you actually type your stocks in, all right, so that your stocks can take part in the poll over here. So I've just placed the link in the chat. That's the link, right? So let me go into pull out or choose the most popular stocks that a lot of you are asking about, right? So very quickly, I would say that we have a Seatrium. Seatrium seems to be a lot of people asking about it, all right? We have, let's see, we have, okay, let me see, right? So we have a Seatrium, we have a SIA, we have DBS as well. More than 10 of you asking about DBS. Let's see, we have SIA, Seatrium, DBS, YZJ, 𝐻𝐿𝐤 Shipbuilding as well. All right, so I picked 4 for now. Seatrium, SIA, DBS, YZJ, 𝐻𝐿𝐤 Shipbuilding. Let's see, right? We have, okay, so this is like Keppel. I think we have, maybe we have AEM. AEM seems like a lot of votes on AEM as well. AEM, where is it? I think right over here. AEM, Seatrium, SIA, DBS, Keppel. Right, so now I've picked 6, guys. We have number 1, Seatrium, number 2, SIA, number 3, DBS, number 4, 𝐻𝐿𝐤 Shipbuilding, number 5 is AEM, number 6 is Keppel. Okay, just one more. Let me try to pick maybe 1 or 2 more. So we have like SATS, 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 and maybe just 1 more. We have a lot of votes. I would say OCBC. All right, over here we have quite a, I think more than 6 of you. OCBC. Okay, good. So I think that's it, guys. I've just pretty much picked out like 8 stocks already, 8 Singapore stocks for now. All right, so let me just share with you guys this 8 stocks before going through one by one. Right, so let me stop the poll right now. Let me just stop the poll. And what are these 8 stocks? So very simple. The 8 stocks. Number 1, we have Seatrium. Number 2, we have SIA. Number 3, DBS. Number 4, 𝐻𝐿𝐤 YZJ Shipbuilding. Number 5, AEM, one of the technology stocks. Number 6, Keppel. 7, we have SATS. And number 8, we have OCBC. So I hope these are the stocks that you guys are asking about, the more popular one based on the vote, based on the poll. All right, let's type Y for yes, or just give me a heart shape if these 8 stocks are what you guys have chosen. All right, just type Y for yes, or just give me a heart shape. Hit the like button as well. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and get started right now. So the first one would be Seatrium, right? Seatrium. Let's take a look at Seatrium. Where is it, right? So Seatrium Limited. So this is a Singapore stocks, Seatrium. Okay, let's take a look at it, right? So this is Seatrium right over here at about $1.46, right? $1.46. So let's see, right? What do you guys think about Seatrium right now? $1.45. You can see it's moving up and down. What do you guys think? Is it more like a bit of an uptrend or a bit of a downtrend? Anyone can share with me what do you guys think about this stock called Seatrium? Seatrium. I think who is asking about it? We have quite more than 20 of you asking about Seatrium. Is it in an uptrend or downtrend? So I would say that very simple, right? Just by looking at the prices over the past 1 year, you can see that we can clearly draw this downwards sloping channel resistance line. So that is a line that is sloping downwards. So for the past 1 over year, since like maybe last year, right, it has been forming what we call lower highs. That's the reason why we can draw this downward sloping red channel resistance line. So it has been in a downtrend, right? Just by looking at this line, of course, we can look at some of the moving averages like the 100 days moving average, the red line above the blue line. Both of these red and blue lines are pointing down. So in the longer term trend, unfortunately, it's still a bit negative. It's still bearish for now. There are no signs of a reversal back up right now. If you were to ask me for the longer term, right? For the longer term, it's still negative. I would say maybe below this. Let's see, maybe below the $2. So $2 would be what I call a very key psychological resistance level. Look at this, right? This sort of tried to go back up, came down, go back up, came down again. All right. So below 180 to maybe even $2, right? It just looks a bit more negative, more bearish, I would say, in the longer term. Of course, in the short term, some of you might say it's a bit of a consolidating, right? Profile, or maybe some of you are saying maybe it's a bit of a sideways as well. All right. Well, yeah, in the short term, we may have found some support. Let me just draw it for you, maybe around the $1.40, right? 140, 138. It seems like that is where we have seen some bargain hunting since July for about more than 2 months. So yeah, it looks okay in the short term. You know, this 140 now is 145, which is still above 140, right? So it looks like it is holding up pretty well, all right? But just be a bit more careful, because even though the short term is like sideways, it's holding up, but the longer term trend is still down. So if we were to break, I'm not saying it will break, right? But if we were to break the 140 and go to 135, 136, 137 or something, right? They're not so good. We may start to see the downtrend continue, and downside targets can be lowered, right? In terms of maybe to 120 to $1, that is what potentially can happen, right? So this is Seatrium, looks a little bit more bearish for now. Probably will not want to buy stocks like this. So for those of you who have been following me for a while, we want to take trades that are kind of like along with the trend. So, you know, for stocks that are in a downtrend, we try not to buy. We maybe want to think about like taking short positions using what we call CFD, contract for difference, whereby you can ride the downside of stock. So this is Seatrium, so it's a bit more of a downtrend, so probably not want to buy, right? And if you have been following me, and perhaps you're one of my graduates or students, and you have access to what we call the 1GT system. So let me just pull out this system that I have, whereby, you know, you can simply type the name of any stocks. Okay, to find out a little bit more on the whole strategy, guys, and the system and all that stuff, you can attend one of those free webinars, right? There's no more webinars planned for now, but probably be on my email list, or something like that. And when any webinars are ready, you can attend one of those to find out a little bit more. All right. But this is Seatrium. You can see that for Seatrium, since like last year, we actually saw some bullish signals. It went up. But somewhere around August last year, right, or September last year, you can see, guys, we had bearish signals coming out. This is a red arrow pointing down, another red arrow, all the way down. You know, it just goes down and down after that red, you know, okay, another green arrow. It went up like for about a week, but then a bearish signal, and it's all the way down. So just be a bit more careful, especially, I mean, you have a system to help you and guide you. If you see like a bearish signal coming out, and you see the trend bar is red in color, so probably be a bit more careful, all right, to guide you to get out, all right. So you can see right now, perhaps we are seeing a bullish signal. So it's gone up a little bit, but as I mentioned, the trend might still be down in the longer term. So yeah, that's where sellers or some selling pressure might come back again near one, kind of like, yeah, near the, let's see, right? So this is yeah, so near about the 180 to $2. I think that is potentially where we might see some selling pressure. Okay, so let's see. So this is Seatrium Limited. Yeah, so I think note of where some selling can come back again. All right, right over here. Okay, so let's move on to the second stock, SIA, Singapore Airlines. Where is it? Singapore Airlines, SIA. All right, SIA. Let me just put it up on my watch list. Okay, where's SIA? Let's take a look at it, right? So this is SIA, Singapore Airlines. Singapore Airlines right over here is trading at about $6.23, right? So I've covered the first stock, which is Seatrium, right? A bit of a downtrending stock. Probably don't want to buy because it is kind of like against the trend if you're buying, and then it's like pointing down, all right? Okay, so this is SIA, Singapore Airlines, $6.23. Let me go to draw some very key levels right over here. I think this will be a very good support level around the 5 $2.85. You can see we have rebounded not one but three times. Look at this right over here. Rebounded somewhere in April, and just last week, about 2 weeks back, rebounded from this support around the 585 to 590 level, right? So I think this is SIA. Overall, I would say that the longer term trend is still okay. It's not really down. It's still sideways. It was up since 2023, beginning of the year. Beginning of last, you can see that the 100 days and the 200 days moving average was pointing up. We were forming what we call higher lows. But since the beginning of 2024, right, you can see that it's a bit of a sideways movement. We have found some very heavy resistance level, I would say near the $7. Just write it down, right? This $7 would be very, very critical, right? The range is quite clear, maybe from about 580, 585, or maybe to $6 if you want to put like $6. $6 could be a support level as well over the past few days. You can see that's where we are consolidating at. You can see the range is like about $1 from $6 to about $7. So it's like $1 range. So that's the range, right? So I think if you can hold above that, 580 to $6 level, it still looks quite okay. It's just kind of like a sideways movement in the longer term. Of course, in the short term, you can see, right? We look at the 20 days moving average. It's like down, up, down, right? So it's like moving up and down in this $1, $1.10, $1.20 range, right? So right now you can see that we have rebounded from the $6 level, and this 20 days moving average line, this is green line. Can you guys see this green line? It is still slightly sloping down, right? It's still slightly sloping down, but because we have found some support, I would say that this green line, the 20 days moving average, that represents the short-term trend, right, can hopefully start to maybe flatten out. So it might start to flatten out and maybe even start to point up. If that happens, that would give a bit more confirmation of the short-term trend actually turning back up, and that could lead that reversal all the way back to that 680 to $7. So this is SIA, Singapore Airlines, stock number 2, right? Stock number 2. Okay, so let's move on to the third stock, DBS, right? DBS. So that's what a lot of you are asking about, DBS. Let's take a look. I think some of you, like Joy, you're asking, is it still good to buy the bank stocks now? Yeah, let's go ahead to discover. So this is number 3, DBS. And for those of you who have just joined us, right, guys, we are actually going through the live poll right now. I mean, in terms of these stocks that you guys were asking about. And we actually did a live poll just now, kind of like picking out the top Singapore stocks that you guys were asking. So we were like DBS, AEM, 𝐻𝐻𝐸𝐻, SIA, SAT, Seatrium, which I just went through, all right? And I'm pretty much going through the stocks that you guys are asking right now. So let me just drag this. And this is number 3, which would be DBS, right? DBS. Let's take a look, right? So this is DBS, about $35.76. So not too bad, right? Sort of heavily as well when the market sold off. The STS sold off as well just about 3 weeks back due to all the reasons I talked about just now. And we actually hit this very key support. Look at this, right? The $32. I did a YouTube video. You can check it out, all right? Where I mentioned that that's where potentially some bargain hunting can come back again, right? Because that was where you can see was a very key resistance level, and we broke above it in April, and then we went all the way up and we hit it towards the $38. So it's sort of near to 32, and then there's some bullish candles coming out. You can see it was also where the longer term moving averages are, and the rebound happened. So I'm quite bullish again on DBS. So you have caught like the rebound, you have gone in near the support levels, great, right? That is where you are seeing some pretty good gains in terms of the rebound. But the key here is that has the support actually gone higher from 32? Has it gone higher? Are we actually coming back down to 32 or 33? Well, over the past 1 to 2 weeks after rebounding from 32, right, you can see that we have found some good support level around that $35. So right over here. So it's like 35. We have broke 35 and came down to 32. So over the past 1 to 2 weeks, it seems like we have found some good support around 35. So I think the upside targets would be anything from like 35 all the way to like 36.50. So let's draw maybe some temporary resistance level. You can see a bit of a resistance, maybe near 36.50 over the past like month. That's where we saw some selling. But after 36.50, right, all the way back up to that 38, that could be kind of like the range in terms of it rebounding to retest the previous high, the resistance they have seen right over here, $38. So it looks quite bullish. Looks quite bullish, as I mentioned, right? We have headed down to some lower support levels. The longer term trend is up. You can see, guys, we talked about the 100 days and the 200 days moving average. So longer term trend is up. Short term, yes, we did sell off, but it seems like we have rebounded from this 32 support, and the short term trend, this 20 days moving average line, has kind of like stopped pointing down. It was like down, down, down. Now it's like starting to flatten out. Maybe even starting to point up, right, over the next 1 or 2 weeks. So if that happens, that would be a good confirmation of the short-term trend turning up. It could lead that reversal all the way up towards that $38. So that is for DBS. That's for DBS, right? I hope that you guys got a little bit of an understanding of where we are right now for DBS as well. All right, this is so let me go ahead to okay, good. So this is DBS. This is DBS right over here. And let's move on to stock number 4, which would be 𝐻𝐻𝐍𝐤𝐬, YZJ Shipbldg, right? So for 𝐻𝐻𝐍𝐤𝐬 Shipbldg, I'll let my team, one of my mentors as well, one of my mentors, Z, to actually share more on 𝐻𝐻𝐍𝐤, right? This is a quick analysis on where we are for 𝐻𝐻𝐍𝐤. For those of you who are asking about YZJ Shipbldg, let Z right over here to take the stage, all right, to share more about 𝐻𝐻𝐍𝐤. Z, it's yours. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Joey. Okay, so as you guys can see from my screen over here, right? 𝐻𝐻𝐍𝐤 since 2023, right? We actually see overall the uptrend for 𝐻𝐻𝐍𝐤 is actually still pretty strong, right? Because overall, from 2023 onwards until where we are right now, we can actually see that, you know, the 20 days moving average is generally above the 100 days and above the 200 days. So it's the green above the red and the blue. And over the past months, we actually saw that, you know, prices actually forming higher highs and higher lows, right? Which is also a sign of a good uptrend, right? And if we zoom in a bit closer to what actually happened over the past few months, right? Let me just zoom it in for you guys. Okay, so over here, somewhere in May to June, we actually start to see the price actually rallying very fast. And this actually coincides with a very high volume right over here, right? And by the way, this stock was actually also covered in our monthly newsletter as well. If you guys didn't already know, our team and Joey actually produce a monthly newsletter. And if you guys want to check it out, you can check it out at www.joeychoy.𝐵-hive.com. Okay, so anyway, so back to this, right? Prices actually reach this 250 level right over here, which is why I've drawn this resistance level. And we actually saw some selling pressure coming back in, right? And price actually retraced back to this support over here, which is about $2.25. And this support level, right, is actually being highlighted because it has been tested multiple times, right? Number 1 will be right over here. Number 2, prices actually neared, buyers came back and support the price. And the third time is right over here, where we can actually see this candlestick with a very long lower shadow, right? So what does a long lower shadow means? It actually means that, you know, buyers actually come back in and push prices all the way back up, resulting in this long lower shadow. So typically when we see long lower shadow at a support level, that is actually a good sign as well. Okay, so subsequently, over this period, somewhere in August, right, we actually also see, you know, some volatility happening. You know, prices actually went all the way up to about 275, tested this resistance, came back down, but once again, 225 was actually supported, right? Same thing goes for here. So what is actually happening right now is that in terms of the shorter term trend, we are actually seeing some weakness, right? Why? Because the 20 days MA is actually pointing downwards. But that being said, right, the longer term trend is actually still intact, right? The 100 days and the 200 days moving averages are still heading up, correct? So, but as of now, you know, price actually, you know, opened at about $2.49. And over the past few days, we have been seeing prices playing around with this 250 level, and this 250 level is actually a psychological level to take note of. So over the past few days, price have just been playing around at this level, and we cannot really see a clear direction as to where the price is actually heading as of yet. But what we do know is that there is a support level at 225 and there is a resistance at 275, right? So if prices, because I don't know what will the price close as of today, right? Because currently it's still trading. But one of the potential entry that perhaps we could actually look out for would be somewhere around here. Let me just draw it for you. Maybe around 225 to about 230. That's where, you know, if price were to not break above this 250 and retrace back to this support level, this is potentially where we can consider to accumulate on the dips as well. Okay, but the other thing is, if prices over the next few weeks manage to break and hold above this 250 psychological level, the potential upside that we are looking at would be about 9%, about 9.8% to about 275, whereby we can actually start to see some selling coming back in. All right. So I hope that gives you a better picture of 𝐻𝐸𝐸𝐤. And Joey have just placed the Beehive link in the chat for you guys. So if you guys are free, you can go and check it out.
All right, thank you so much, Z. All right, so that is 𝐻𝐸𝐸𝐤 YZJ Shipbldg, guys. Hope you guys have got a better understanding of where we are right now for 𝐻𝐸𝐸𝐤. So one of the bullish stocks that we actually covered. And by the way, guys, for those of you who are not yet a VIP client of mine in Phillip Securities, I'm not too sure how many of you are actually clients of mine in Phillip Securities. Just type C in the chat, so that I know that you guys are client, or maybe you might be just scrolling through YouTube and Facebook and you have no idea what is this about, right? So just type C in the chat so we can know how many of you are actually clients of mine in Phillip Securities, so we can have an understanding. And for those of you who are clients, we actually share, I think you guys can agree, right? We actually share some of those top ideas by WhatsApp live daily, all right, to our clients, right? So CCC, we have quite a bit of clients over here. Hi, Celia, Wilson, Lihan, Jerry, Shijie, Kasi, Michael. So quite a lot of clients, but some of you might not be clients. You might be just scrolling through YouTube and Facebook. Not to worry. But if you're not yet a client of mine in Phillip Securities, right? So make sure you check it out as to how you can become a VIP client, like many of our clients over here as well. All right, and that's how you can get some of those ideas much faster by WhatsApp, right? So 𝐻𝐸𝐸𝐤 was definitely one of the stocks that we've been covering since the beginning of the year that we actually share out by WhatsApp, right? So just take note of this. Let me just share the link. Let me just go to share the link to join. All right, to find out a little bit more on how you can become a VIP client of mine in Phillip Securities, right? So the link is right in the chat. That is pretty much to find out as to how we can become a VIP client of mine in Phillip Securities to get some of those ideas much faster by WhatsApp. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. We have a lot of clients here. Andy, William, Divaja, good to see you. Thanks for support, guys. Hi, Bunjin, good to see you as well. All right. Okay. So let's move on. Let's move on, guys. That is pretty much the link I placed in the chat. Right, to find out how you can become a VIP client of mine in Phillip Securities for free at no additional cost. I say again, you do not pay anything more, right? So if you have a trading account in Singapore, I mean, you need an account to trade, right? To buy some stocks, right? So if you have a trading account in Singapore, I have no idea where, but you just log in online to a web app or the online website, and there's nobody who service you, no ideas, no video, no WhatsApp, no training, nothing. You don't even know who your broker even is. Check out how to become a VIP client of mine in Phillip Securities for free, right? At no additional charge. It's pretty much the same as whatever you are paying when you are trading, right? So go ahead, the link is right there. Okay, so let's move on to the number five. Right, we have covered 𝐻𝐸𝐸𝐤. Now it's stock number 5, which would be AEM, right? AEM. Let's take a look at AEM right now. All right, let's look at AEM. So this is AEM, right? What do you guys think about AEM? I think all of you guys can agree. I'm not too sure who is one asking about AEM, but AEM has been, I would say, in a downtrend since like 2022. All right, it was a very strong uptrending stock. In fact, one of the battle stocks in 2020, just after COVID, you can see we rallied quite strongly from about 1 to 150 all the way to $5. Right, so very strong stocks until somewhere around the beginning of 2022 when they'll talk about rate hikes, inflationary pressures, the US technology sector got hit, AEM got hit as well, and it did not really recover. All right, many of the tech stocks in the US, they did recover, right? But for AEM, it has pretty much turned into what we call a downtrend. So you can see, right, the 200 days moving average line, the red and the blue line right over here, 100 days below the 200 days. So it has been in a downtrend. We can also draw what we call a downward sloping channel resistance, forming lower high. So not a stock that we want to consider. I mean, right now, I mean, not just right now, but since last year or last year, right, it has turned into a downtrend. We don't want to buy stocks that are weak, right? We want to buy stocks that are strong, there's potential to push higher, they are at least in an uptrend or at least showing signs of a reversal back up. Does it make sense? All right, so that's what we want. So for AEM, it has been a bit of a downtrend. You can see since like maybe beginning of the year, in fact, we broke certain support levels. Maybe we have found some support right over here at $3. Look at this, right? Rebounded, and finally in January this year, all right, January this year, it was a downtrend plus it broke the $3. And what happened after breaking the $3? You can see that the downtrend kind of like accelerated, right? This like red downward sloping channel resistance slope downwards even more aggressively. All right, so that's one thing about, you know, I think we covered just now one of the stocks, right? So if it's like in the downtrend and you break a very key support level, you want to be careful because that's where we could see some very heavy selling pressure coming back fast. All right, and you want to have a plan to get out to reduce your exposure. You don't want to just hold it all the way down, right? You can see from $3 it just go down from February, March, April, May, June. Now it's August, and it's like $1.27. Does it make sense, guys? So we don't want to buy stocks that are in the downtrend. In fact, we actually saw maybe some support level at like 150, but that just gave way as well. All right, and now we are 127. So it's quite a heavy sell down. So I think some of you might say that, hey, but it's pretty cheap, right? It's pretty cheap. It was like, you know, 5, 4, 3, 2, $1 plus, and now it's like almost, in fact, more than half price, right? So should we just be going in because it's cheap? Well, for those of you who have been following my strategy, the one good trend strategy, and if you want to find out a little bit more in terms of the strategy, guys, we don't have time to cover the entire strategy today, but if you want to find out more, you can attend more of those free webinars that we are running, all right? Maybe in the future, just be on my email list, find out as to how you can, learn about this strategy and, kind of like use the right mindset as well. All right, with the right mindset in terms of when to get in, where to get out. All right, so you can attend one of those free webinars that we'll be running in the future. Be on my email list, and that's where I will let you know. All right, okay, so let's move on. This is AEM 127. So I would say that over the past like 1-2 weeks, we may have found some support, maybe a 120. So the range maybe 120 to, I would say, let's just put it even lower, right? Maybe 120 to 140, right? So it just looks a bit weaker, right? We probably don't want to buy stocks like this, all right? Because if it breaks 120, it can even go to $1. All right, maybe after $1, it might go even lower. So we don't want to just buy because it's cheap. Does it make sense? All right, so probably not want to look at AEM for now if you're looking at buying. But if you're looking at like taking short positions to profit from the downside, yes, that's good. That's something that you could look at, right? That's why you could use a CFD, contract for difference. So if you want to know a bit more, as I say, check out how you can become a VIP client of mine in Phillip Securities. All right, we do have some private trainings on that. You get some of our top ideas by WhatsApp daily, but like what many of our clients over here have as well. All right, so that is AEM, stock number 5. Let's move on to the stock number 6, which would be Keppel, Keppel, K-E-P-P-E-L, Keppel. Let's take a look. Right, so this is Keppel. This is Keppel, right? So this is Keppel at about $6.06. $6.06. So you can see for Keppel, right? Since last year, we actually staged a pretty good rebound. In 2022, we went from like $3 to $4. So very strong uptrend, all right? Very strong uptrend. But just somewhere around last year, mid of last year. So for mid of last year to now, it's about 1 year. We have turned from a pretty strong uptrend to, I would say, a bit of a sideways trend. Why do I say that? Well, you can see that the range is quite clearly right over here from about 580 all the way to about that $7 for, I would say, more than a year since last year. That has been the range. And the longer term moving average, the red and the blue line, you can see, right? Both of them have started to like flatten out a little bit, maybe slightly pointing down, but a bit more sideways, I would say. So it's not a very strong uptrend, is more a bit of a sideways. But if you say that it's like a down kind of trend, no, not yet. If we were to break below this 580, so look at this, right, guys? 580 would be a very, very key support level. 1, 2, 3. Look at this, right? We actually saw some bullish candles right over here, and then the rebound happened all the way up, right? So we came back down again, and you see over the past 1-2 weeks, we are back to this level, same level. All right, look at this, right? So we touched like, look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and we rebounded again. So if we were to stay above the 580 level, I think it's still okay. It's still quite safe. It's still quite safe. The longer term trend is still not like down, kind of down. All right, it is still a bit sideways. But if that level were to break down, if you break the support level, then you want to be a bit more careful, right? That's where potentially the trend can turn down. All right, and you want to reduce some exposure. Get out. You don't want to hold it when there's a reversal from an up to a downtrend. All right, but right now you can see we're still above this level, thankfully. All right, and it's about $6.06. So yeah, I think if we can stay above this level, maybe $5.80 to $6. So you can see, right, this 20 days moving average line, this green line, it is still pointing down. So the short-term trend, if you ask me right now, it is still slightly pointing down. All right, slightly pointing down. So you can see it's pointing down. And if you can wait for it to maybe just like flatten out and point up, like what I've drawn over here, that would be a good thing. That means that the short-term trend has turned up. And that's where you could ride the reversal all the way back up to that $7. Does it make sense? Something like over here. Look at this, right? So this is where we were previously, as I mentioned, in November. All right, we headed to this support at 580. Look at the green line. Look at the green line. The 20 days moving average line was down, flat, up. And look at this, right? Once the short-term trend started to turn up, that reversal actually happened, and we saw the rebound all the way up to $7. So that is where we had kind of like a 17-18% upside rebound. So that's what you could wait for. That's what you could look out for as well in terms of the reversal. You don't have to rush. You want to wait for more confirmation. But right now, it seems like we are still slightly bearish in the short term. We have found some support at the same $5.80 to $6 level. Good, all right. But when the short-term trend will turn up, that will give more confirmation of that rebound or the reversal actually happening back up. Does it make sense? All right, so that's for Keppel. So not too bad. This is a stock you can put in your watch list. It looks pretty cheap, but it's not like cheap, and it's like going down like every other day like AEM. At least we have found some support. So cheap is we want to go for stocks which are not just cheap because it's cheap and going down every other day, but more like it's cheap, but at least certain support has been holding, is still in a pretty gradual uptrend. That is what we're going to look for. And that's where you could time your entry to catch the dips for a rebound. All right. Okay. So let's move on to the next one, which is SATS Services, SATS. One of the stocks that we like as well. So this is SATS Services. Let's take a look, right? $3.62 right over here. So let me go to draw some of the very key levels for SATS. So I think for SATS, this is a very key level. So one of the stocks that we like, in fact, it came into our watch list since about 2 months back. Why? Because this stock, you can see that it sold off pretty badly in about 2022. Look at this, right? 2022. There was some news about, I think they took a stake in this company, WFS and something like that. And we broke certain key support level here, right? And look at this, right? We broke the 350, 360, and it just gapped down, right? Gapped all the way down, and we went to that $2.40 support. And since then, for about almost 2 years, we have just been moving up and down from 240. Look at this, right? Swing down. Okay, let me just put in black color, right? So swing down, up, swing down, up, down, right? So that is kind of like the range from 240 to $3 sideways. So if you want to try to get in near the 240, then great. That is a very good support levels. Bullish candles have came out near there many times over the past 1 over year. But this stock actually came to a watch list, and it was one of the stocks that we actually shared with our clients as well, some of my students as well. Right over here, somewhere in July, right? July, when we actually broke above that $3, the $3 resistance. Look at this, right? The $3, as I mentioned, for more than a year. Every time we touch, we come back down. But finally, on this day, on the 9th of July, all right, 9th, 10th of July, we went above that $3. So that is a kind of like a good thing, right? This is a very meaningful move whereby we are finally out of this very key resistance level, all right? And we went up, came back down, retested the same $3 level whereby some bullish candles came out, and you see it's a sign of the uptrend actually forming. From sideways, we have actually turned into an uptrend, the start of the uptrend. Look at this, right? As I mentioned, we look at the 100 days and the 200 days. So the red and the blue line, both of them are starting to point up. They're both starting to point up. It could just be the start of a longer term uptrend forming, right? As long as we stay above these $3. So $3 will now be like a support level right over here. And we push up, and I think over the past 1 to 2 weeks, you can see, right? We actually broke above maybe the 340. Now it's $3.63. So you can see right over here, guys. This was the support level, right, that we have been holding since 2021, 2022. this support would turn into a resistance. But over the past week, right, we have broke the 350, 340, and now we are even attempting to break the $3.60. So I think this is one of the stocks to watch. I think it's not too bad. In fact, as I mentioned, we have shared this stock over the past 1 to 2 weeks as well. All right, and it still looks pretty bullish. Maybe if you can give a bit of an allowance, maybe 350 would be like a support, 350 to 360. That's where some bargain hunting can come back again. All the way to, let's see, maybe all the way to $4. Maybe $4 could be a resistance, and then $4.40. Why? Well, just by looking at the past, right? The historical price, look at this, right? $4. $4 was a support, it became resistance. Same thing, $4.40. So that could be like the upside in terms of the reversal, right? From here, $3.50 all the way up to $4. After $4, maybe to $4.40. That could be the upside. But I'm not saying that you should like go up every single day like that, right? No, most of the time what we want to see is that we want to see it, consolidate a while and then pump, pushing higher, breaking the resistance, and then consolidating at a higher level and then pushing higher again. So that is a healthier uptrend. But right now, it just looks a bit more bullish because you can see that the support levels are getting higher from 3 to 350 to 360. So that's a good sign, all right, of this uptrend just beginning to happen. So anything above like 350 to 360, I think it looks quite bullish. All right, so this is SATS, one of the stocks that actually came to our watch list over the past 1 to 2 months, and we shared it with our VIP clients. So yeah, you're going to get, as I say, you're going to get some of these ideas much faster daily, right, by WhatsApp. Check it out as to how you can become a VIP client of mine in Phillip Securities and get some personalized service at no additional cost, right? No additional cost is pretty much the same as whatever you pay when you're trading, right? When you're trading, all right? Okay, so that is stock number 7. Let's move on to stock number 8, and that would be OCBC, all right? OCBC, where is it? Let's take a look. Okay, so this is OCBC at about $14.40, right? OCBC, one of the banks that I like, I would say, very steady uptrend compared to the two other local banks, right? I would say that OCBC is one that's a bit more gradual, a bit more stable. It doesn't come down a lot. It's not that volatile, all right? And you can see that we have found some very good support after we sold off around the $13.50, 13.50. So we sold off. Look at this, right? Rebounded from here. And you see now we are making our way back up. So let's take a look at some resistance level, maybe about $14.50 all the way to that $15. So I think OCBC looks quite good. You can see the longer term trend is up as per looking at the moving averages. In the short term, we did sell off. You can see the 20 days moving average line was pointing up, down when the market sold off. But right now, you can see it has started to flatten out. So that is a good sign. In fact, maybe I can draw another support level right over here. Over the past 2 weeks, it seems like 1420, all right, 1420 has came out to be a little bit of a support. Look at this, right? Buyers coming out on dips. So range $14.20 to $14.50, right? It is now at 14.39, which is like kind of like in the middle, right? In the middle between this range. So I think as long as it consolidates right here, so that is the range. 14.20 is up, down, maybe come down a bit, up a bit, down a bit, right? And once we get that break or the move or very firm bullish candles above 14.50, 14.50, right? That would lead that reversal even more firmly all the way to retest that $15, right? So that is for OCBC. Not too bad. At least we have came back up above like a key support level, and the 20 days moving average line, the green line, has also started to flatten out, right? So it's no longer that bearish in the short term anymore. All right. So this is OCBC, stock number 8, right? Stock number 8. So I pretty much went through all these stocks already. Hopefully, guys, these are the stocks that you guys were asking about. Let me just do a quick run through of all the stocks again. Number 1, we have Seatrium. Number 2, SIA. Number 3, DBS. Number 4, YZJ Shipbldg, which my team Z actually covered. Number 5, we have AEM. Number 6, we have Keppel. Number 7, SAT Services, one of the stocks that we like. All right. Number 8, we have OCBC, one of the stocks that we like as well. All right. So these are the 8 stocks that you guys were asking about, and I've kind of like picked it. So now I want to share with you guys, we have gone on for like about an hour. I want to share with you guys maybe one of the stocks that is in my watch list that perhaps you guys could put in your watch list as well. All right, just type a T, type T for top, type T for top. If you want me to share with you guys one of the top stocks to watch right now in the Singapore market, type a T for top. Give me a like as well. Smash the like button, follow button, so that you will not miss out, guys, when we go live in the future, right? Just type T for top if you want me to share with you guys some top stocks, right? Some top stocks. Okay, I think some of you are asking, Peter, what is the monthly high web address again? I think some of you are asking, I think Z did mention about this newsletter that we actually do on a monthly basis, sharing about some top stock ideas in the US, maybe even the Singapore market, right? So how do you get this newsletter or join our email list such that when we go live in the future, you will not miss out, you'll be notified, or maybe when we have any live webinars in the future, you will be notified as well. So that is the link, Peter. Let me just grab you the link, right? That is the link to join this newsletter. All right, those of you who are already on our email list, you probably will receive this newsletter on a monthly basis when it's ready. But those of you who are not yet on my email list, check it out. That is the link. That is the link to join this newsletter. I've just placed it in the chat again. So Peter, I hope that answers the questions. Let's see, right? So a lot of you are typing top, T. So I think all of you want the top stock to watch right now. T, Dyna, T, Bunchin, Wilson, T. Thank you so much. So let's go ahead to, let me share with you guys one of the top stocks that I have in my watch list. So this stock is called like Centurion. In fact, it was a stock that we have covered since like a few weeks back. Centurion, right over here. All right, this is Centurion, right? You can see one of the stocks that we covered since like April. In fact, I think clients of mine in Philip Securities, you probably got a WhatsApp over the past few months talking about this stock. And this stock you can see quite clearly since like April, we have formed a very gentle uptrend in terms of the longer term. The red is above the blue, both already pointing up. And you can see we are actually consolidating. So we actually found like a higher support level along the way. So this is like a support around the 52 cents. We formed some support around that 48 cents. So the support actually got higher as we went up, right? So you can see another support here as well. And past 1 to 2 weeks, it seems like the support has gone a little bit higher. So let me just show you what I mean by support being found at higher levels. And that's a good thing. It just means that we are consolidating and pushing higher. So for example, you can see, right, we were consolidating here, consolidating, pump, consolidating, pump, consolidating, pump, consolidating, pump, right? So there's another support level here as well. All right, look at this, right? Yep, and then we consolidate a little bit more here from like 60 cents to 65, pump. Consolidate for like a week, pump, right? So over the past 1 week, in fact, I think just on the last Friday, we actually went above this 68 cents. I got my team to send out a note on WhatsApp as well to my clients in Philip Securities. All right, as I say, guys, I think I've repeated this a few times. If you're not getting any ideas by WhatsApp, means you're probably not a client of mine in Philip Securities yet. So check out the link is just in the chat. I'll just place it for the very last time. Find out how you can get some of those ideas much faster by WhatsApp. All right. By the way, if you are already a VIP client of mine in Philip Securities and you're not getting these ideas, just reply to my team, guys. Just send me an email or something. I'll get my team to check, but you should actually receive this on a daily basis. All right. So Centurion, one of the stocks that we covered since last month. All right. And you see it was consolidating. And on Friday last week, we actually broke above that 68 cents. Upside targets were drawn all the way, in fact, to around that 80 cents, right? 75 cents first, and then 80 cents. So it seems like we are kind of like on our way towards this target, right? Maybe a bit of a resistance at 75, but if 75 were to give way, then we could potentially hit towards that 80 cents. So one of the stocks that we like, even though it has gone up a little bit already, but it's still pretty strong. We might see some support coming in, maybe around that 70 to 72 cents. It is maybe from here, maybe about 72 to 70 cents. That is where some support can come back again. We might consolidate like what we have been doing, and then pump, pushing higher again. All right, so that is Centurion, one of the stocks that is in our watch list. Very gentle, very strong, consolidating as we push higher. All right, let's move on to maybe one more stock that you guys can take a look at as well, and that would be ST Engineering. All right, ST Engineering that have came into our watch list as well. I would say since the beginning of the year, right? Very strong, gradual uptrend, and we like it because finally, somewhere around like March, April, you can see that we actually broke above this very key resistance, the $3.80, right? We're trading below it for most part of last year, and when we broke it, you can see we started to consolidate higher, and the moving averages all started to turn up. So same thing, right? Consolidating, higher, consolidating higher. All right, and right now maybe we might have seen some support right over here. I think, yeah, so we were consolidating below the $4.40 for 40. That's also where the 20 days moving average line is. So now it's 447. So I think the range is quite clearly 440 to $4.60. So that is kind of like the range right now, right? So 440 to 460. I think if you can stay above that 440 level, it still looks pretty strong, right? And that's where some bargain hunting can come back again. We might potentially see the reversal all the way to 460. Of course, if 460 with the giveaway, targets can be revised higher towards that 480 to maybe even that $5. So that could be what can happen for ST Engineering, right? This second bonus stock that I would like to share with you. So two bonus stock, and that would be Centurion, all right? Centurion, Centurion, and also ST Engineering, all right? So I think that is pretty much it, guys. We have come pretty much to the end of this Ask Me Any Stocks live session. If all of you have got some value so far, all right, just go ahead to give me a like or this type value, type V for value in the chat if you've got some value so far in today's Ask Me Any Stocks live session. Or give me a like. There should be a heart shape somewhere. All right, heart shape. Give me some love or type V for value, guys. If you have found some value, hopefully these are the stocks that you guys were asking about. All right, and yeah, I think we have pretty much come to the end of this live session, right? V. Let's see. We have Sehua V as well. Value. Thank you so much. So I hope all of you have got some value. That's the whole purpose of this whole entire live, just to give value to you guys, cover some of the Singapore stocks, and hopefully you guys get a better opinion on where we are right now on the market, and also the stock that you guys are asking about. And also, right, the two bonus stock that I share, you can also put it in your watch list. I'm not telling you to buy or not to buy, all right, but you can put it in your watch list. These are some of the stocks that we have shared that it still looks pretty bullish. It's in our watch list. You might want to put it in yours as well. Have a plan for it, and hopefully you can profit together with us as well. All right, so Joey here. All right, thank you so much, Lihan. Value, Steven. A lot of value here. Z, maybe you can just say something to everybody as well.
Thanks everyone for joining. I hope you guys really found this 1 hour session useful, and hope to see you guys more often next time.
Yep. Thank you so much, guys. So yeah, we'll have like this live session, Ask Me Any Stocks, maybe once every few weeks, 2-3 weeks, depending on our schedule. All right, we try to do it, but yeah. So make sure you're on my email list. If you are, then you will be notified when we go live. All right, and attend one of those webinars in the future. As I said, if you're on my email list, we'll probably let you know. And yeah, look forward to see you guys in the next live session called Ask Me Any Stocks. Thanks, Alfregino. Thanks, Michael, Cassie, Ronald. Thanks, Wilson. Thank you, everyone. Signing off. Me and Z signing off. We'll see you guys in the next live session. Take care. Have a good weekend. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.